So getting yourself sitting comfortably, arriving on your mat, getting that spine nice and long, reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Let's take a few cleansing breaths this morning. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing in and out. Letting go of your sleep. Let's do a few more of those. Beautiful. Let's take shoulders to our ears and rolling them down our backs, taking them around. Nice circles here. See how the shoulders are doing. How did your neck feel after sleeping? Let's take those shoulders forward. We're going to take the arms all the way out this morning, bending at the elbows and just placing your hands onto your shoulders. You're going to lift those elbows up to the ceiling, bringing them to the front and back around. So just taking those shoulders a little bit bigger circles this morning. Making sure your spine is staying nice and tall. And then we'll reverse it. Let's send those arms back out. We're going to start by small little circles. See if you can soften the shoulders a little bit as you're doing this. Sometimes we tend to bring the shoulders up to the ears. See if you can slowly get those arms moving a little bit bigger. And maybe even bigger. And if you have any shoulder issues, be sure to nurture yourself. And let's take those circles big in the other direction. Only doing what feels right for you. And then slowly making those circles a little smaller. Until you have little tiny circles. Good. We're going to take the hands onto our ribs this morning. Let's connect with our breaths. We're going to do what's called a bellows breath. So as you breathe in, feeling that rib cage expanding. And then as you exhale, feel it sinking back in. So just moving back and forth. Feeling those hands expanding and contracting. Breathing fully and deeply. Good. Let's bring the fingertips to the floor. We're going to inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Bringing the palms together and back to the heart space. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale and exhale. Good. And last one, reaching up and back to the heart. Maybe settling those hands there, closing your eyes, and setting an intention for our practice today. Whatever quality you're looking to bring in, just setting that now. And maybe that quality can lead you through the rest of the day. Let's reach those fingertips back up. Letting them open, letting those hands float down to the floor. You're going to reach the left arm to the ceiling And just coming over, maybe sliding that right arm out. Keeping your left hip heavy. Breathing here. Good. Let's bring that left arm back up to the ceiling, sliding back to center. We'll let the left hand float down, right arm reaching up. And when you're ready, let's come over to the left. Keeping the right hip heavy. Maybe that left arm stretches out a little bit. Taking full bellows breath here. And let's come back to center. Take the left hand to that right knee, right hand behind, twisting it out. And back to center. Let's do the other side. Right hand to left knee. Nice deep twist. Good. Let's come back to center. We're going to stretch those legs all the way out in front of us. Let's give them a little wiggle, maybe pointing your toes and flexing those feet. See if you can slide your hands down towards your toes. You might need to bend your knees. We haven't stretched the hamstrings. So just see how far you can go, not over pushing it. Letting your head relax down. Noticing how that feels for the first time. We'll roll back up. Let's swing our legs around to the side. We'll come onto our hands and knees. We're going to check in a little later to see how our forward fold sitting feels. So coming into table, fingers wide. Let's do some cat-cows. Moving back and forth. Moving with your breath. Good. Coming back to center, let's take the knees a little further apart. We'll sink the hips down. And let's come into child's pose. If your forehead doesn't quite reach, feel free to stack your fists. And we'll take 3 full bellows breaths here. And then coming over to the right, taking your hands to the right. See if that gives a nice big deep stretch for you. And back to center. Let's go over to the left. And back to center. Let's come all the way down onto our bellies this morning. Letting those elbows rest on either side, hands on top of each other, and just resting your forehead down. Taking 3 full breaths here. Excellent. Let's bring our left cheek down on top of the hands. Hopefully your right hand is on top of your left. So we're looking to the right. We're going to do a series of very subtle movements, but very effective. So we're going to start just by lifting up the elbow, that right hand, right arm. So lifting and lowering the elbow. Looking under your armpits. And then resting that elbow down, let's just lift the head up, keeping both elbows on the floor and lowering. Lifting and lowering, feeling this in the middle of your back, thoracic spine. And then resting your cheek back on your hand, we're going to lift that right arm and the head at the same time. So feeling this in the lower left back. Only coming up as high as it feels good for you. And then lowering back down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So switching your left hand on top of your right, taking your right cheek down onto your hands. And we'll start just by lifting that left elbow up and down. Resting your left elbow down, and we'll just lift the head as you look to the left, up and down. And then resting that right cheek down, we're going to lift the arm and the head. Good. Let's come back to center. Bringing those feet up off the floor. Let's crisscross those ankles. And then releasing the feet back to the mat. Bring our hands back underneath the shoulders and pushing back into child's pose one more time. Taking 3 breaths here into that lower back. And we'll come back to center. Good. Let's take that right leg right up in between the hands. So this is where if you have a block, you're welcome to block or two. You can place your hands on the block. See if you can get that right knee in your armpit, the right ankle's right underneath that knee. And then making sure the left knee is back far enough for you so you can feel that in the left hip crease. Once you have yourself set up, maybe lifting your nose up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. Let's bring our hands onto that right knee, sinking in a little deeper. Finding your balance here. See if you can bring those arms up and just sinking in. And then we'll float the hands back to the floor. Let's walk fingers back, straightening out that right leg, bringing your nose down to your knee. Drawing the right hip crease back, really getting into those hamstrings this morning. And then we'll come forward. Let's bend that left leg, sinking the hips back. See if you can grab hold of the left foot with your right hand, and then sinking the hips back down. If you have a strap, you're welcome to hook that around that left foot. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to grab hold of it. If you don't have a strap, just maybe grabbing your pant leg. So you can get into the quads this morning. Good. And then we'll release, letting that foot float back down. Let's take the right leg back and we'll switch sides. The left foot coming forward, Setting yourself up, sinking into those hips. Once you're there, maybe lifting your nose. Taking a few deep, full breaths. Let's bring our hands to the left knee, sinking in. Finding your balance, maybe bringing arms up to the ceiling. And let's float those hands back to the mat. Walking your fingers back and straightening out the left leg. Bringing nose to knee. Drawing that left hip crease back to the back of the mat. And then folding forward, let's sink the hips back, bending that right knee. See if you can grab hold of the foot with your left hand and then sinking back down. Opening up the shoulders, opening up the quads. Making sure the right knee is happy. You need to pad it up if you need to. And then we'll release, letting that foot float back down. Let's bring the left foot back, coming back into table, getting wrists underneath shoulders. Let's curl all our toes under, fingers are wide, and we'll come into downward facing dog. So lifting those hips. And maybe pedaling one heel out at a time, stretching out the calves. Good. And then see if both heels can come towards the floor, straightening out your legs, coming in between your arms with your head. And we'll take that leisurely stroll up to the top of the mat. Folding over the hips, maybe bending the knees if you need to, hooking your hands into your elbow creases. And just swaying from side to side. Coming back to center and stillness, let's uncross those hands. See if you can straighten out those legs. Maybe the fingers don't come to the floor, that's okay. Breathing here. Letting your head get heavy like a bowling ball. Let's bend the knees and slowly roll up, keeping your chin tucked until you're feeling nice and stable. Letting those shoulders roll down the back. And we'll settle into our mountain pose. So feet are hip width apart. Knees are above the ankles. Hips are above those knees. Shoulders above the hips and ears above the shoulders. And just close your eyes and breathing here. As you exhale, let everything settle into your feet. As you inhale, feel your head and crown rising up. Let's inhale, reaching up with our hands, palms together and back to heart. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, sinking down. Inhale, up. Exhale, sink. Last one, reaching up. This time, as you exhale, we're going to hinge over the hips, nice and slow, mindful, lowering back into our forward fold. And your next inhale, let's bring the hands to the shins, coming halfway up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, fold. Last one, halfway up. And fold. Imagine you're squeezing a block in between your thighs, protecting your back as we rise up. Nice big arms. And once you get to the top, let's do a slight back bend. Bringing the hands behind as far as it feels comfortable. And then back to center. Let's take hold of the left wrist. We'll come over to the right. Breathing here. And then back to center. Let's do the other side. And back to center, letting those arms float back down by your sides. Good. Shaking those arms out, shaking those legs. Since it's Monday and it's sunny, let's do breath of joy today. So breath of joy is a 3-part inhale, 1 part exhale, and it allows us to bring more energy in, more vitality in, gives us more energy to do what we need to do. So let's begin. We're going to reach the arms in front as we inhale, and then we're going to reach them out to the side again as we inhale, and then all the way up to the ceiling. And then exhale, maybe bending your knees and bringing them back up. So it's an inhale, 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 and exhale. Getting that vital energy into your body. It's like you're a conductor of your own orchestra today. You feel dizzy at any point, then just stop, bring your head down. We're going to do 2 more. And on your last one, let's just hang in ragdoll. Letting everything rest and relax, soften. Let's trace our hands up our knees, keeping your chin tucked all the way up the thighs. And then lifting your head, shoulders roll back. And just close your eyes, feeling how that feels for you. Feeling alive, I hope. Let's bring hands to heart space. We're going to take our feet nice and wide today. Nice wide-legged stance. Having those feet parallel to each other. Let's take the arms all the way out into a beautiful 5-pointed star, maybe rotating those fingers into small circles again. Getting a little bit bigger and bigger. Nice big circles like you're a bird ready to take flight. And let's go in the other direction. Nice big circles the other way. Getting smaller and smaller. Good. Now let's take those hands behind us. See if you can grab hold of the fists and drawing them down towards the floor. So really squeezing those shoulder blades together. Breathing into that heart space. Bringing joy in Enjoy out. Let's fold forward. See if you can bring those fists off of your back. Head down to the mat. And then releasing hands back to the mat. We'll place the left hand on top of the right. Let's reach the left arm up to the ceiling. Taking a breath here and then bringing that hand back down. We'll do the other side, right arm reaching up and then back down. Just moving with your breath back and forth. Good. Let's do one more on each side. Coming back to center, we'll walk our hands over to the right ankle, bringing your nose towards your knee. And then back to center. Let's go over to the left. And back to center. Let's wiggle those feet in, all the way in, hip width apart, bending your knees, and let's roll all the way back up into our standing mountain pose. Just letting everything settle again. Bringing hands back to the heart space. We're going to do eagle pose, but we haven't done this for a long time. We're going to start with the arms. So let's reach the arms all the way out. We're going to bring right elbow underneath the left and see if you can bring the palms of your hands together. If that's not going to happen for you, you can hold onto your thumb or just imagine that those hands are coming together. So just using the force between your elbows to draw those fingers together. So if you have your hands together, if not, we're going to reach the elbows up and lower them back down. Reaching them up and back down. This is a great way to get into the upper shoulders, lifting and lowering. Good. And then keeping your elbows where they are, head where it is. We're going to take the arms over to the right and back to center and over to the left. Back to center. Let's uncross those arms, reaching them back out. We're going to do the other side. So left elbow coming under the right. See how this side feels. Maybe one side is a bit tighter than the other. Modifying for yourself. And we'll lift those elbows up and lower them back down. Lifting them up and back down. Lifting and lowering. Leaving your head where it is. Let's take elbows to the left. Back to center and to the right. Good. Back to center. Uncrossing those arms, giving those shoulders and arms a little shake. So we're going to add the feet and the legs this time, maybe taking your hands out or bringing them onto that Hara center for balance. We're going to bend the knees a little bit generously. We're going to take right foot and right knee over the left. And if you can, see if you can hook your left foot behind your calf. It's a bit tricky. And if that feels okay, maybe taking your arms out. Keeping your balance. If you fall out, it's okay. And then maybe bringing your right elbow under the left. This is full version of eagle. And let's undo that. Undo the leg. Give those legs a little shake. Let's see how the other side is feeling. So maybe bending those knees, placing hands on your center of gravity here. We'll bring left knee across the right, hooking the toes in behind if you can. If you can't, you can just place that toe on the floor. If it feels okay, let's reach the arms out. See if we can bring left elbow under right. Coming into eagle. Beautiful. Uncross the arms and the legs. Give everything a shake. Let's come all the way down to the floor. Taking some weight off those legs. Send them out long. Pointing and flexing the toes again. And with all that stretching we did, let's see if we can slide the hands down towards the toes, maybe getting a little deeper than we did first thing this morning. Letting your head relax wherever you end up. And we'll take 3 full belly breaths. And let's roll back up. Let's just cross our right ankle over the left today. And sliding those hands back towards your toes. Maybe feeling this in the outside seams of your thighs, legs. And then rolling back up. Let's uncross and recross left ankle over right. Sliding hands down to the toes. See how this side feels for you. And then coming back up. Excellent. Let's put our feet on the floor, bringing our hands behind us, and just letting the knees go over to the left. Maybe looking to your right, taking a few breaths here. And then back to center and over to the right, head to the left. Coming back to center. And let's ease our way down onto the floor. Once you get there, feel free to bring your knees in towards your chest. And just rocking side to side, giving that back a lovely massage. Coming back to center, let's take our feet up to the ceiling, arms up too, coming into our dead bug. Today's about bugs and birds. So we're going to use opposite arm and leg, and we're going to lower it down. Drawing navel to spine as you lift them back up, and then doing the other side. See if you can do this very mindful and slow. Keeping that breath going. Takes a bit of coordination to get the opposite arm and leg moving. Let's do 2 more. Good. Bring those knees back in, placing a hand on each knee. And let's move those knees into whatever circle feels good for you. Placing your feet back onto the mat. Hands down by your side, setting the heels up underneath the knees. Feet are hip width apart. We're going to inhale, reach the hips up and the arms overhead. And then exhale, lowering back, arms and the hips. Flowing back and forth with the breath. And on your next one, let's just hold here, arms overhead, hips towards the ceiling, making sure the neck has enough room, pushing into those heels. And just leaving the hips where they are, we're going to lower the arms back by our sides. And then moving the hips back down to the mat. Nice and slow. Let's take arms out into a T. Sending the hips a little bit to the left, an inch or two, and then letting those knees float down to the right. Coming into our spinal twist. Making sure the shoulders stay resting. Let's take the head to the left. Nice full breath. Then we'll come back to center, squaring off our hips, sending the hips to the right and the knees to the left, and looking over to your right. Letting that back settle here. And let's come back to center, bringing those hips square on the floor, bringing the knees in for a final hug and rock. And we'll come into the most important pose of the whole class, coming into Shavasana. So stretching those legs out. If your back is tender, feel free to have your knees bent, arms by your side. Let's take a nice full breath in. And letting out a sigh, letting everything just melt into the floor. And your legs get soft. Letting your hips melt. Shoulders relaxing. arms, loosen them. With your eyes closed, just bringing your awareness to that beautiful life force, that breath. Breathing in through the nose and back out. Feeling cooler air flowing in and warmer air flowing back out. And today's poem by Dana Faults is called White Dove. Since we're on the birds and bugs theme today, in the shared quiet, an invitation arises like a white dove lifting from a limb and taking flight. Come and live in truth. Take your place in the flow of grace. Draw aside the veil you thought would always separate your heart from love. All you ever longed for is before you in this moment. If you dare draw in a breath and whisper, yes. Just beginning to reanimate your fingers and toes. Bringing a full breath into your belly. Drawing knees towards your chest. And easing your way back up to a seated position. Let's bring our left hand on our heart, right hand on top. Bring our breath together in union, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take a breath in and out. Beautiful. Remembering to say yes today. Namaste. Thank you for